Hello, my name is Water the Toxic Savior. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Although my views are mostly nihilistic, I do see more to the life and external realities that surround us, and I'm driven to seek out proof of the empowering love that mystify and enchant each life that has been given the chance to participate in this universal gambit. I carry the scars from my past, and I've seen a lot of terrible things in a lot of terrible places. I'm resolute in the deeds of my past, however, I carry love with me everywhere I go. I see no use for hate. Life for me has been a struggle, but I'm hopeful for a better life for everyone that occupies the same space as I do. I may be a bit defensive at times, but I never wish to see another person suffer in the same way that I have. I spend most of my time these days either drinking, smoking, or working. I enjoy communicating with others and do my best to keep an open mind about anything you'd have to say. I've seen enough to know that there's always more to the story. Just please don't ever lie to me. If there's anything that I can do for you, I'm here for you. All you have to do is communicate with me, and I will do everything I can to provide for you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this introduction. I know that there's a time that everyone in their life contemplates the more grand spectrum of our brief, personal existence. The isolating fear can be anything from maddening, to depression-inducing. It causes you to become dissociating, apathetic, irritable, self-destructive, or even as far as suicidal. I know that, the paranoia that comes with the existential fear is not something to shake a stick at, and when the panic attacks come in, I know personally how dangerous and painful any situation can escalate with no telling how, or when the cruel attack will end. This is the thread I'd like for others to utilize in case of anything they'd like to express, or seek advice regarding to the topic of the existential terrors. I know there are a lot of others with good things in mind to share with others in need of direction or quality information to help them along the idea of accepting the inevitability of death, or debating the idea of what may, or may not come after the moment of passing. I've struggled with this for a very long time, and I've experienced several lapses in psychosis because of my inability to distract myself from the inevitability of death. I fell heavy into nihilism. I began to drink heavily, and I would smoke my mind away with marijuana until I had a panic attack and blacked out. The one time I woke up in the hospital with no memory of the night before was a personal low for me. The point being, no matter what I did to run away from the fact that there's nothing we can do to avoid the moment of our personal demise, the death of our consciousness, nothing seemed to help. I fell deeper and deeper into the pit of despair, desperately clinging to life like a terrified child. I'd smoke, I'd drink, I'd get into fights, I'd have meaningless and mechanical sex with strangers. It was a very bad scene, and I was doing nothing but destroying myself when it was being destroyed that I feared to begin with. I was becoming the worst possible kind of person, and I remained that way for years. It wasn't until recently that I started to change that tune. I remember one night in particular I was looking up at the stars at a park near my house, still buzzed. When I began to think, what if I am my own greater purpose? What if all things are created through a subjective mentality, and not as objective merit? What if all things exist only through individual perception of subjective intricacy, and not through the objective fabric of reality itself, being, the mind details the reality around it, contrary to the reality influencing the mind to be at his whim? That was the moment that I believe everything changed. I has one of those eerie, still silence moments when everything just kind of clicked and things just sort of made sense. I remember I woke up the next morning, and I felt that as long as I can find some sort of satisfaction not in the futility of human life, but the simple, petty, insignificant happening that go on around me every day, that I could make the through this life with less to fear about what's to find on the other side. And slowly, everything changed. With that moment I was on the road to recover from my 6-year binder of debauchery and personal pleasures. I'd like to hear what others have to say, and if anyone has a story of their own, or are going through any of the existential terror themselves, this is a safe place to channel those thoughts. Thank you for taking the time.